So I had to wait another half hour.
Yeah.
And then, it's just...
So what time do you guys end up leaving?
It's a lot. I left like at 2 in the morning. Then I worked this morning at 7:30, so it's just,
Yes.
It was a lot. I was just tired. That's all I was. I was tired. It was cool, though. I mean,
That's why you don't commit to friends,
it was cool, bro. No, it was cool. It was cool. Shout out to Nurko. It was cool. It was cool. Shout out to the DJs out there.
All right, you
EDM
ready?
shit. Yep.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Media Mixtape podcast, where we talk about movies, music, and sports. This is your sports episode of the week. It's me, your boy Josh G. Sitting right next to me is my brother from the same mother, Obi Jack, aka Jacob.
What up, guys? Welcome back to another episode.
Yes, as you can tell by the title, we're
super hyped for this one.
Yeah, we're in a good mood. We're feeling great, excited. I mean, I am.
Best time of year.
Jake's kind of feeling a little somber because
wonderful time.
he's gonna fucking lose in fantasy. We are playing fantasy football. We're gonna talk to you guys about our fantasy football teams.
Had our draft literally last night.
Yeah, we'll probably discuss some details about how the draft went, things like that.
Yeah.
At the end of the episode. So we'll talk a lot of fantasy at the end of this episode. We'll talk about news and stuff first. But before we get into all that, like, how are you feeling about your team?
I don't love my team.
Yeah.
I like my team with the potential to love my team.
It happens every year. Jake is a commish, so like he's so focused on running the draft.
Yeah.
That I feel like halfway during the draft, you're not even tripping about your team. You're just like taking players.
No, I mean,
and you think and you try. And I know your fiance, like, she writes crosses the word.
I definitely have a strategy in mind, and I have like my guys that I want. But it is hard. It is hard because I'm trying to host and I'm trying to make sure everybody's cool, And this year, like, I had an app, and not sponsored, but anyway, but it's a sick ass app. It's called Draft Clock. Mm-hmm. But I think I had to search up like NFL fantasy draft clock. Like, I had to type in a bunch of shit to find it. Yeah. And it lets you put the names in and how much time you want, all that stuff. So
yeah, it's pretty cool. Every time the pick was in, you're able to tap pick is in, and the next pick goes on. I actually thought at some point throughout the draft, especially like round like 9 or something, like we would be fucking up with the clock. Like someone would press it twice, an accident or something.
It happened a couple times towards the end.
Yeah,
but I think a lot of people were like,
we didn't really care. Yeah. I think it happened to the 14th round the first time.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
it is hard, but I do have my guys in mind. My fiance is great. She marks off all the guys for me on the list so that...
Appreciate your commish, guys, because I fucking just go into this and just play.
Yeah.
And
have a good time.
It for granted.
Have a blast.
Yeah.
I did have a few drinks, so that makes it a little bit more complicated, too, when you're making picks. You're not really thinking straight, but... 2
minutes goes by a lot faster, too. And I don't know, though. I always feel like, and maybe this is why I always lose, but I'm standing up, ready to put my sticker on the board. Yeah. 1 minute and 30 seconds. What the fuck are we waiting for?
Yeah.
It takes 10 fucking people are going to go before you, pretty much, depending on what type of league you're in.
You should know what pick you're
You should know 4 or 5 names that you're looking at for the next pick.
Right.
What are we doing? Like, waiting till...
Yeah, like, obviously guys are going to go off the board, but, like, you should know by...
Yeah, I'll be like, all right, cool. Like, I know these guys are probably going. I'm going to try to get this guy. And then you kind of get surprised. Oh, wow, I wasn't going to take the guy here, so cool. I'll cross that guy off. Sure, you can get kind of surprised by the draft, but you highlight their name real quick, and then you have 3-4 names you're ready for.
And that's what I'm saying. That's for me. That's where I'm ready. I'm like... That's why it's not as hard, because I'll look at the list and I go, okay, boom, I'm locked in.
These
this guy.
Guys I want. Yeah.
Like, this is the guy that I want. And if he's there, I'm going to take him.
And if he's not, then it fucks you up a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But for the most part, I try and pick a guy. I'm like, he's probably not going to go. Like, he'll probably be there when I'm picking.
Yeah, for sure. I get it.
So I like my team. I love my team. A lot of questions. But we'll talk about it a little bit later.
We'll talk about it later. And you guys will be able to decide who has a better team versus the two of us. Maybe we'll put a poll on Instagram or Twitter. So definitely follow us over there at media_mixtape. But before we get into all that good stuff, I do have actually quite a bit of NBA news. So we're going to go into NBA news first. Then if there's any NFL stories, we'll talk about them and then move on from there. So NBA news to start us off. Trade rumors. We have Mike Conley and Russell Westbrook being involved heavily with trade rumors with the Los Angeles Lakers. The rumor is that the Los Angeles Lakers are very interested in a Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, Bojan Bogdanovic kind of. I wouldn't say they want all 3 of those guys. I think the Lakers are looking at the Utah Jazz as a team that's completely rebuilding, willing to just accept picks for these players. Right. But the Lakers are also in a place where they supposedly want to save cap space for next season. So That makes it a little bit more tricky as, like, for example, a guy like Mike Conley, you're not getting that money off for the next 3 years. He's 34 years old. You're signing up to be paying a 37-year-old or 34-year-old guy a lot of money for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
And within the last 6 years, I looked this up, he's missed significant time 3 of the 6 years. So it's like a 50-50 chance you're getting a healthy Mike Conley for a full season.
Full time, yeah.
And so that's also an issue as well. The Lakers are looking at. But the rumor is Lakers are interested in Mike Conley. How would you feel about, because this was kind of a debate going on social media. I got in a couple arguments on social media about it as a Lakers fan myself. Russell Westbrook and a first-round pick for Mike Conley. What's your issue with that, or what's your feeling about that kind of trade?
I think Mike Conley's a great player. My issue with that trade is just that he's old. And does he help us? And we're going to be in the same situation with him than we are within Westbrook right now. Now, obviously, fit-wise, he's a better fit than Russell Westbrook. There's no doubt about that. It's just like he's old. Is he going to be there every season? Is he going to be in the playoffs when we need him? Because if we make the playoffs, all bets are off. But it's like, is he going to be there?
Yeah.
And again, it's just not to say, Westbrook's better than him, because I don't think that, or a better fit, anyways. I just think he's old, and we would not be learning the lessons from the past 2 seasons that we've had to go through, which is like, you're just grabbing players because you think that they're a good fit, and they're not, and now. Yeah, we're stuck in a fucked up situation, and this guy's left, and this guy's gone, and we traded this pick, and we traded this young talent, and we traded this guy's like, learn from your mistakes, okay? There is a Buddy Hield, Miles Turner trade out there. Both guys are younger. Both guys are extremely talented. Both guys fit exactly what you need right now. That one is just like, you should be exploring every single option with that, and then, which is why trading THT for Patrick Beverley doesn't make any sense in this situation, because I feel like THT was a piece in that trade.
Yeah, especially with the Indiana Pacers. The reports are the Pacers were actually interested in THT, along with a couple picks, Westbrook, and maybe the Lakers also taking on a Daniel Tice trade, Tice contract. So here's my thing about the Mike Conley situation, and like Jake's gonna start rolling his eyes and get annoyed, but this is the fact of the matter, guys. And I don't want to blame LeBron James, but LeBron James, every team he goes on, things like this happen.
Right. This is the scenario towards the end.
Towards the end of his tenure with whatever team he's on, it gets ugly.
Yeah.
Contracts are ugly. Draft picks are non-existent.
Right.
Young talent is non-existent. It's happened every fucking place LeBron has gone.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying it's LeBron's fault, but I'm saying LeBron has some kind of... he's some piece of that puzzle.
The problem is,
right? And so,
people sell out because they know we have a short window with LeBron James.
Exactly. So that's...
Get as much current talent as possible, and that's why picks are gone, young players are gone.
And so here's the issue I have. I'm not blaming LeBron. I just want to let you know that that's happened before in his past. Every team he goes on, it happens. And so part of that has come with the territory with LeBron. No one should be fucking surprised about this.
Right.
I called it when the day LeBron got traded, I called it.
Even when trades were happening.
Exactly.
Even when there was rumors that LeBron was going to sign.
Exactly. And so that's just a fear. If LeBron does come, this is my fear. And it's come through fruition. So this is why, as a Lakers fan, I'm a little hurt about that fact that the Lakers are kind of fucked right now. But at the same time, I also am still an optimistic Lakers fan, and I feel like this. When, at the end of the day, the bet is made, right? It's ugly. Yeah. It's ugly right now.
Super ugly.
You have to try to... You're in damage control at this point.
Yeah.
You have to try to salvage what is left of the situation. You know LeBron signed on for a couple more years. You know he extended. You know Anthony Davis isn't necessarily reliable, so you need someone else as well. Yeah. I'm not saying Mike Conley has ever been better than Russell Westbrook, but I think in this current situation right now, I prefer Mike Conley in this situation because I know what I'm getting with Westbrook, and it's not winning basketball.
Sure.
And that's just because it's a fact of the matter. I don't want to just blame Westbrook for all of the Lakers' woes. Anthony Davis not being healthy is a huge part of it. The coaching staff's probably was a part of it as well. And so I'm not saying that Mike Conley is a savior for the Lakers. I'm not saying it's a guaranteed championship, but I'm looking at this situation like we're fucked either way. Sure. The Lakers need to somehow get out of this situation or somehow make the situation as salvageable as possible. I think if you can somehow get Mike Conley and a Jordan Clarkson, or even just honestly Jordan Clarkson and Bojan Bogdanovic.
Yeah.
That's his name?
No, I think it's Bojan
Bogdanovic. If you could somehow get both of them,
Yeah.
Right? Those guys. Or a combination of two of the three. Right? For Westbrook, and you're trading a couple future picks and whatever it is.
It's definitely a lot of addition by subtraction.
That's the dream situation, because I think the Lakers are just better, period, without Westbrook on the roster.
Right.
And I don't want to offend Westbrook fans out there. It just kind of feels like that's where it's at right now. Westbrook's just as that third star is almost getting in the way more than he's helping. So you get rid of Westbrook, you bring in another possible scoring option, Jordan Clarkson, or just a point guard in general, and Mike Conley, for example. I think you're better off. Now, is Conley going to be healthy? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is he going to shoot a great percentage? Possibly not. Last year, I think he was 13 points per game with like 43% field goal percentage, so not great. But he can shoot the three ball a little bit. He'd probably be your best 3-point shooter. He's a catch and shoot guy who can sit in the corner.
And you have a guy who can handle the ball.
And with LeBron.
When LeBron's not on the floor.
Exactly. So that's how I feel about the situation. You're in damage control. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Go get me Mike Conley if that's the best option. I would love to explore that Miles Turner and Buddy Hield trade.
Is the Daniel Tice thing a deal breaker for you?
No, fuck no.
Bro, I'm
Are you
like...
kidding me? Again, we're fucked. We're fucked out of the way.
That's what I'm saying.
And if you can get two guys who are under the age of 28, I think both are.
Yeah.
And for Westbrook...
I think Buddy's 29.
Okay.
And Turner's 26.
They're young. They're under 30.
Young enough, yeah.
They're under 30.
Yeah.
You get two guys around the age of Anthony Davis to now say when LeBron retires in 2 years, which, by the way, it's still a couple years away when LeBron's done. You have those guys to play alongside Anthony Davis and LeBron for the next couple of years. I would love that.
You can stay afloat.
And Daniel Tice being a backup center isn't the worst case scenario for you.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point. I'm like, yeah, he's getting paid a lot of money.
He'll be a third string overpaid.
And this was crazy.
Center,
and Jesse's here. We probably should have him on, but his mic's not plugged in. But
that's cool.
His take was like, "Oh, that's a terrible deal," and I'm like, "What do you mean?" Mm-hmm. So you'd rather just have Westbrook?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, yeah," and I'm like, "They're talking about not even." They're talking about paying him $47 million to not play for us.
Yeah, they're talking about doing a John Wall situation.
Yeah, you'd rather that than just pay Daniel Tice $9 million or whatever he fucking getting paid. It's not even that crazy of a contract.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, over 3 years." I'm like, bro, that doesn't even make sense.
Yes,
like,
it's a long time for sure. And again, it's a bad contract. I'm not going to pretend it's not.
But as a backup center, I mean, he's fine. He's serviceable. He's not the worst player in the world.
Lakers fans out there, to break it down for you, your starting lineup would be Patrick Beverley, Buddy Hield, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Miles Turner.
Yeah.
With guys like Lonnie Walker Jr. coming off your bench, with Thomas Bryant coming off your bench, and some solid pieces off the bench that I think are valuable. Austin Reeves off the bench as well.
Even Daniel Tice, bro. Roster. Like, we just need a rebounder off the bench.
Yeah.
Like,
but even that, I mean, you still have Thomas Bryant again to play that center role for you. So that's what I'm saying. Daniel Tice could be a backseat third string center who's just getting overpaid. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a good situation, but my problem is with the THT deal with Beverly. I just think after THT is gone off the table, I don't see how or why the Pacers would give the Lakers what they want after letting go of THT. You know,
that's what I was talking about the other day off the pod. But the only thing I can see is the Pacers' desire to be like, no, we just want fucking to own the draft for the next decade. Even if those picks are far away, like, we want those. Like, we want to have as many picks in every draft.
I saw a Lakers Twitter page that said something about like, oh, a GM says 2027, 2029 picks are the most valuable in the league right now. And I just don't understand when they do little things like that, because it's like, who's saying that, you know?
Well,
is it like because of LeBron thing, LeBron
like
sons or whatever? I don't know.
It's like that DeAndre and or Anthony Davis for DeAndre and some shit like that, right? Like a package for DeAndre and whatever. So an anonymous exec, and I responded.
It would be DeAndre Ayton and Cam Johnson.
Yeah, for Anthony Davis. Or some shit like that. And it was like, oh, you know, anonymous exec, and I'm like, and that's what I responded.
Would pull
I'm like,
the trigger on this deal.
Yeah, well, no, not what would pull the trigger is like they're hearing rumblings that this is the deal, and it's like, okay, but what exec is that? Because that exec should be fired. DeAndre Ayton can't be traded. So, like, how true is that anonymous statement? You know what I mean? And what kind of, is he a fucking executive for fucking social media? Or, you know what I mean? Like,
I get you.
What exec is this?
Yeah, so it's definitely like being a Lakers fan can be frustrating because you hear all these rumors and a lot of hopeful fans. Like, I kind of understand when people hate on Lakers fans because there's a lot of hopeful fans out there who are like, well, this can still happen. It's like, yeah, I mean, hypothetically, anything can happen. But the reality of the situation is the Lakers might be fucked next year, man. And it's just the reality. It's like, it's not looking beautiful. It's not looking horribly ugly either. I think you have LeBron James, Anthony Davis. Your team could be worse off. But they just can't carry the team the way they used to. If we keep
Westbrook, the only way, and maybe Donovan the guy, is that Westbrook comes off the bench, dude. That's the only way the Lakers could be successful if Westbrook's on the team.
or just staggered minutes a little better. Bro. When he's on the court, because he's gonna start.
That's what I'm saying.
If you find a way to stagger minutes to where LeBron and AD are played together and Westbrook plays by himself more often than not, you can make it work.
It's just dumb, bro, because you would have to like put Westbrook in for 2 minutes and then bring him out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And it's like just fucking
keep him 4 minutes, take him out, leave LeBron and AD in there for a couple minutes, bring him back in when they swap out.
I just think it's such a like.
It's an annoying situation.
It's so stupid because it's literally Westbrook being like, no, I better be in the fucking starting lineup. But it's like, bro, if you came off the bench, like, you can just fucking do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And be like prime Russell Westbrook, Mr. Triple-Double off the bench, bro. Like,
I want to emphasize that I don't think Westbrook's a bad player. I just don't think he contributes very well to winning basketball. And that's actually a kind of a good segue to one of our other stories. Moving on from that story, this is kind of interesting. I wasn't going to go here first, but it's kind of a good segue. J.R. Smith came out and supposedly stated, which is annoying, and I'm going to tell you why. He supposedly stated that he feels like guys like him, Joe Johnson, Jamal Crawford, Isaiah Thomas, and one more other person, if I'm not mistaken, were blackballed from the NBA.
Yeah.
That's the way the stories were posted at first.
Yeah.
But the truth is he was asked outright, do you feel you were blackballed in a way from the NBA?
Yeah.
And so he agreed with that. And all of a sudden people are running with, like, there was one article that literally said, quote, I was blackballed from the NBA.
Yeah.
It's like, he didn't say that. Someone
I think
asked
the quote
him,
I saw was like, guys like me were blackballed.
Yeah.
Guys like me and Jamal Crawford were blackballed. Like, that was the quote.
He might have said that.
Yeah.
But I think what the important thing to say is, first of all, I don't think he's straight up saying that they were blackballed for sure. He was asked that question and he just kind of answered.
Yeah.
But I think what he kind of means, and I think what my perspective on it is guys like that in the NBA aren't wanted anymore.
Yeah.
Right? A guy who, first of all, come on. Like, he said Joe Johnson and Jamal Crawford. I'm like, no disrespect to both those dudes, but they're literally retired.
Jamal's like 40.
For a pretty good reason. Jamal Crawford can probably still get a bucket in the NBA.
Oh, if you told me the fucking Lakers got Jamal Crawford, I'd be like, hell yeah, bro.
He could get a bucket in the NBA days,
easily,
for sure.
Yeah.
But can he play defense to the same level he used to? He's going to be healthy. You know what I mean? He's 40 years old.
Same with JR. Can JR play championship level
Joe
defense?
Johnson, I'm like, no disrespect, Joe Johnson, love the dude.
Yeah.
ISO Joe. But he was looking rough towards the end of his career. He was looking slow.
Yeah.
He was not as athletic. Couldn't even get as many buckets as he used to. Then J.R. Smith, I kind of can see, okay, he could probably still play. But again, not many teams in the NBA want guys who are going to play offense, all offense, no defense. And even then on offense, not even being the most efficient. Take bad shots.
You're not prime J.R. Smith anymore, bro. You're not J.R. Smith that could do a fucking 360 double pump.
Nick Young was another guy, he said. Swaggy P.
Again, bro. Is that guy contributing to a championship?
I think Swaggy could have played 3-4 years ago. I feel like he definitely got a little more hate than he should have because he's been out of the league for a while. And I feel like he probably had a couple more years left in the tank for sure.
But again, years left in the tank versus contributing to championship basketball.
That's true.
You know,
and if you're not contributing nowadays to championship basketball, a lot of times you're just...
like maybe you could get to an Orlando Magic.
Well, what I'm saying, those teams are getting smarter now, and they don't want those guys in their roster because it's like, no, why would I take minutes away from my young guys to play a guy who's not going to help us win at all?
Right.
Not really going to contribute to us in any significant way. Right. I'd rather just play
develop
a 22-year-old rookie,
see if we have something
he can develop into something. Yeah, so that's just what it is in the NBA now. I think teams have wisened up a little bit.
Yeah. And guys like Nick Young, Jamal Crawford, guys like those start to fall off the,
They got less and less efficient every year.
That's what I'm saying. Like they
can still put 20 points up.
They start to fall off the radar of teams because you go, yeah, but Jamal Crawford's nice and he's good for highlights and 4-point plays, but what does that mean for us basketball-wise? What does that do for our team basketball?
You literally point all those guys out, aside from Isaiah Thomas, I would say.
Yeah. Isaiah Thomas definitely was blackballed.
No, I don't think he was blackballed. I just think it was a bad situation for him. I mean, aside from Isaiah Thomas, none of those guys...
So fuck that dude. He's going to get a max contract.
It is, but let me just say this. Aside from Isaiah Thomas, none of those guys have ever contributed significantly to a championship.
Maybe Joe. I saw Joe, maybe.
To a championship.
Oh, to an actual championship?
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying...
JR was a part of a couple championships. I think he probably contributed more to the Cleveland one than he did the Lakers one.
Yeah.
He did contribute. No, he didn't play with the Lakers.
He played like a couple minutes maybe.
So, that's what I'm saying. Those guys didn't really ever contribute in their careers very heavily to a championship. Isaiah Thomas didn't contribute to a championship, but he contributed heavily to winning basketball for the Boston Celtics.
Right.
That was a fucked up situation because of his hip.
Yeah.
But to be fair to Danny Ainge, he was right to not pay him because he got hurt and he was never the same after that.
Yeah, it just sucks.
It sucks.
It sucks because he had one.
I
of the
wish
best
he got paid
careers.
for sure.
His sister passed
He
away.
never got the $30 million contract.
It was like the whole thing, Like, bro, his fool fucking played through his sister passing away, and
If
like
he never had the hip injury, he would have been a 5-year, $150 million player.
yeah, easily. So I think it's like you said. I think just the NBA is just getting smarter and go, nah, we're just gonna run with our young guys. If we're gonna just keep losing,
Yeah.
it's nice to have Jamal Crawford to get you on Twitter and stuff, but. As far as like, let's just develop our guys and try and win basketball games.
And the winning teams understand that those star players, you need the star players the ball, and you need your role players to be role players, and not be the Jamal Crawford trying to drop 20 points a game when your team doesn't need that from you. You need a guy who can play defense, who can hustle, get rebounds.
Also Jamal's just old, bro. Like Jamal's old. JR got old. ISO Joe, I mean, same thing. Like they just got old. I wouldn't say they're blackballed. Yeah, I think NBA players think, he can still get a bucket, but it's not always about just getting buckets,
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Moving on from that story, though, interesting little story. Shout out to JR. I don't want to act like I'm like, those guys all suck. It's not, not what I'm saying. I just think there is valid. It's not like there's completely no valid reason why those guys weren't signed. Carmelo Anthony was blackballed from the NBA for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a true black. We've seen it now. He's literally played multiple seasons after that and played well, you know?
Contributed to winning basketball.
Exactly. So I feel like with this situation, it's kind of explainable with why those guys aren't signed. Isaiah Thomas is just too small.
Too small. JR got old. ISO got old. Jamal got old. Yeah, he could get a bucket, but he still got old.
They used to, when they were younger, they could play better defense just off of athleticism. And now they can't as much anymore. So the reality of the situation in the NBA, unfortunate, but it is what it is. You guys let us know how you feel about the JR situation. Are they blackballed? You tell us. A lot of people are saying no. I think a lot of people are on that side. Moving on from that, the Cleveland Cavaliers have acquired Utah Jazz star Donovan Mitchell in a blockbuster trade. The trade details are Cavaliers receive Donovan Mitchell, and that's it. While the Utah Jazz, on the other hand, receive Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, Okai Agbaji, a 2025 first-round pick, 2026 pick swap, 2027 first-round pick, 2028 pick swap, 2029 first-round pick. So absolutely stacking up on first-round picks. The Utah Jazz are. And, Cavaliers obviously felt like they're a pretty good squad, ready, prime for that next jump. Yeah. And the next jump is hopefully coming along with Donovan Mitchell playing alongside Darius Garland. I love this trade for Cleveland in the sense that you're ready to take a next step, and Donovan Mitchell is the next step for you. Mm-hmm. But I also feel like they kind of allowed, the league in general has allowed Danny Ainge to bully them into giving them first-round picks. And it's because, he's demanding all these picks for Rudy Gobert. Minnesota, just don't do it. And I guess if you really want them,
you can't block teams from being dumb.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, I feel like with the Cavs too, it's like, no one was going to give that many picks. And, you're trading Lauri Markkanen and Colin Sexton, who Colin Sexton alone could have got you at least one first.
Yeah.
Lauri Markkanen probably could have got you a first for some teams. Maybe a future first. Mm-hmm. Right? And so I'm not saying that,
Yeah, but what are you getting in return? You're getting out arguably top 15 player, maybe?
20? Top 20 player?
Top 20? At the worst,
15,
top 20.
15, 20, yeah.
Yeah.
I have to count the players first, because a lot of good players in there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Arguably, he's in that conversation of he's really good. He's a star.
He's the best player in Utah, and he was kind of carrying them through playoffs.
He's
multiple
been
years.
the best player since
he got there.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, but for decades, probably he's been their best player. You know what I mean? The best player
in a while
had.
Since John Stockton and
So, I think it's a good move for the Cavs, but I looked at the roster, bro, and I'm like, am I scared of that? I don't know if I'm scared of that roster at all.
Let's look up that roster right now as we speak. I get what you're saying.
I just looked at it and I'm like, you gave up a lot, kind of. I think
you gave too many picks. You gave too many picks for Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I'll give you 2 first. You have to give me Markkanen and Sexton.
I'll give you 2 first.
I'm basically giving you 2 first picks.
Exactly.
In those guys.
They were first round. Yeah. First round talents. Yeah.
So
that's how I feel. It's just I feel like they kind of allowed Danny Ainge to be like, this is what I want. That's it. That's my price. It's like, so don't fucking trade.
Yeah.
Don't trade. I know you want this guy really bad, but it's not worth it, dude. In my opinion. Yeah. I think it could be worth it. I don't think Cleveland's going to win a championship. It definitely could be worth it in the sense of, you guys are better.
They are better.
If you want to get better, yeah, for sure. You're better.
They're better, but they're just scared, scary, They're not scary. I'm not scared of them.
Darius Garland's going to be your starting point guard.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell starting 2. What are we looking at for the 3? Probably either Isaac Okoro or
I think they had Okoro.
Jetty Osman.
I think they had Okoro in the starting lineup.
Rondo off the bench still. Ricky Rubio's on their roster according to ESPN as a backup point guard for them as well.
Yeah.
You have Ed Davis, who's still in the league. But your starting center is Jared Allen.
Yeah.
Starting power forwards probably Kevin Love.
No, there's another guy.
Evan Mobley.
Yeah, Evan Mobley.
So
like it's a nice lineup, but it's not like I'm not scared of that lineup, bro. Like, I'm not like
I'll try to see what I get for K-Love.
Lakers.
I don't think you get much. I mean, at this point, if I can get anybody, bro.
And Westbrook. Who said no, bro?
Cavs say no.
Yeah, most people.
Yeah, they don't have a super scary squad.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not scared of them, bro. I think it's okay. I think it's an okay lineup. I think Donovan Mitchell's a good player, but again, is he a top 20 player? Maybe.
They got Evan Mobley's brother too, no? If I'm not mistaken, they drafted him. So I think, or signed him as a free agent. I think
Tevin Mobley.
No,
Evan and
Mobley
Tevin.
And, I forgot his name.
Evan and Tevin.
He played for USC too.
Also, he's trash.
I don't know. I think the team's good. I think you have to remember that Donovan Mitchell pretty much carried the Jazz. Like Rudy Gobert wasn't doing that much shit on offense. He was doing a lot of defense, well on defense, but
yeah.
He was carrying that team offensively multiple times in the Western Conference to a 4th seed, 5th seed, and a couple of deep playoff runs.
I mean, yeah, like they're the best they've ever been with him. But I just I don't know. I'm looking at the lineup. I'm like, they're right, bro.
Donovan could take them to the next level.
Maybe they're like a 5th seed in the East, bro.
Then they might be. They could be a 3. That's what I'm saying. That's how good Donovan Mitchell is.
At their peak, I would say 3.
A 3. At their
but like
highest.
realistically, I'm saying like 5 or 6, bro.
No, they're definitely a 4 seed minimum.
No.
They played well with
Miami.
that.
Miami,
sure.
Milwaukee, 76ers. Why can't I think of other fucking teams right now?
Cleveland.
No, not Cleveland.
Chicago.
Team. No, there's another team in the East. The Nets.
Brooklyn barely made the playoffs last year. It's not going to get it together next year.
Injuries, bro. Injuries. I'm just saying.
They're going to just put it all together next year?
If Brooklyn plays together next year, yeah, they'll be better than the Cavs.
Probably, maybe.
So like a 5th seed. Like I said, like a 5th seed, bro. 5th, 6th seed.
But they could be a 3rd seed.
They could be at their peak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
maybe even a 2nd. I'll give you like 2nd, but
yeah, I agree. Because Donovan's good, man. Donovan's carried them, but carried teams. But we'll have to wait and see with that. In terms of Utah Jazz, I mean, they got a solid squad as well. Obviously, Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen. They're in full rebuild.
Yeah, full rebuild.
Like, yeah, they could just flip those guys for more picks, to be honest.
Probably. They probably could. There's no like they can, right? Because they got them.
I think they can. Yeah,
they could just flip them immediately.
I don't know. In 2K, there's always like a 60-day like period you have to wait, but I don't think in real life you have to wait. I think you just flip them immediately.
Blockbuster trade. I mean, one of the biggest trades.
Oh wow!
In a while, for sure. Like of that stature, even though whatever you think of Donovan Mitchell, he is a star player in the NBA. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Moving on from that, we were talking about Nick Young a little bit earlier. This is kind of a funny story. Nick Young wants to box D'Angelo Russell. He was in an interview.
He just was saying it to be stupid, bro.
Yeah, he was in an interview. They asked him if you had to box someone. It's like celebrity boxing match type stuff.
Yeah.
Who would it be? And he immediately says D'Lo. Like doesn't even think about it. D'Angelo Russell. And then goes on to not say any other player. He just said D'Lo, and then says some Golden State Warriors players, some Lakers players.
Yeah.
Guys he's played with, I'm sure. Some coaches even. But the only name he actually said was D'Angelo Russell. Is this kind of like a get over it situation, or is it like, no, rightfully so, fuck him up?
No, I think it's just Nick Young being Nick Young, bro.
I mean, it's a joke. He's not actually gonna fight him.
I'm gonna say something stupid right now to be funny, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, D'Angelo Russell, ha, wink, wink, you know. But
it was the first dude. It wasn't even a hesitation, bro.
I don't think he cares.
Have you seen the clip? It wasn't even a hesitation.
No.
It was like, who would you box in the NBA? D'Lo. Immediately, D'Lo, D'Angelo, and then he starts thinking, and he's like, some Warriors player, some Lakers
if he is still angry,
he couldn't even think of the second name.
If he is still angry about it, you cheated, bro. So.
Yeah, it's like, what are you mad at?
Definitely get over it, but
that's all I'm saying. Yeah, definitely. It sucks. It's a D'Lo situation, but it's also like you messed up.
That whole situation was crazy, bro.
It was.
I remember that. Like,
I still wish
bro.
the Lakers never traded D'Angelo Russell.
Nah, it just happened when it was supposed to happen, bro.
No, I know, but I just kind of wish at least one season, like that season was the year they drafted Lonzo. I wish that Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka had a little bit of patience just to be safe.
Would they have drafted
D'Lo
Lonzo?
going? Yes. I'm saying you know for sure Lonzo's a pick automatically.
Yeah,
because they already did. But you just go boom, D'Lo, you're the 2. Because that season, rookie season, Lonzo would have been Lonzo, D'Lo next to him.
Yeah,
Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle, and I think at the time we already signed Brook Lopez.
Yeah,
maybe if we didn't sign Brook Lopez, then our center was probably Zubac or something. But then off the bench, you start working with Kyle Kuzma, who ended up being great that first. Yes, you would have.
We wouldn't have Kuzma. We didn't have the pick.
You could have just not taken Josh Hart, taking Kyle Kuzma.
We wouldn't have Josh Hart. I'd rather have Josh Hart.
What? That's ridiculous. What are you talking about?
Off the bench?
It's ridiculous. You'd rather have Josh Hart instead of Kyle Kuzma?
Yeah, bro. Arguably 6 man of the year.
Who? To who? What
we
team?
took Josh Hart first.
Yes.
We would have taken Josh Hart, bro.
Maybe not, though.
We would have taken Josh Hart, bro.
Maybe not. They might have just known that Kuz wasn't being valued by other teams.
I just don't think it falls the same way. I don't think we take Lonzo.
You do take Lonzo.
Maybe if I could take Jason Tatum.
You do take Lonzo, though, in that situation.
I don't think so, dude.
You do. You could just move D'Lo to the 2. We didn't have a shooting guard at the time.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe we could.
And then you don't take Josh Hart.
You don't accidentally fell into fucking Jason Tatum.
You could have. Or you don't take Josh Hart. We had Brandon Ingram, though. You don't take Josh Hart.
Put him at 3,
you
bro.
You don't take Josh Hart because you don't need a shooting guard anymore because you have D'Lo at the 2, and then you have to take Lonzo and Kuzma. I'm just saying, imagine you go that route that falls that way. Imagine it falls that way for once.
Perfect scenario. I just don't think they would do that.
Keep Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance. That team would have been fucking sick.
Yeah, like 6 years later, yeah.
They would have been good young.
No.
It would have been promising, and you wouldn't have traded everybody.
We still would have traded everybody for if LeBron came.
I think even then, LeBron probably looks at that and goes, fuck, I'm not even going to go there.
Nah, he wanted
because
to come
of
to
the
LA,
way because of the way the team would have been structured.
He wanted to come to LA, bro. That was the only way to end his career is go to a legendary franchise.
Go to New York.
Nah,
he was down. He said it himself.
He wouldn't have gotten another Knicks.
He said it himself. There's a quote of him saying, "Madison Square Garden are here." That's where it was going to be.
That's what I'm saying. It would have been either the Lakers or the Knicks. He would have looked at the Knicks and been like, "Oh, that's the guy." That's the place
but it would have been like I could form that. Lakers, I could form that better than I could form the Lakers because the Lakers have a fucking squad.
Nah, because he goes, "Nah, I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna tell him to get rid of everybody."
Because the Lakers would have been at that point, they wouldn't have been good. They wouldn't have been a playoff team probably the first year, but they would have been pretty. They would have been promising.
You forget Lonzo's rookie year. Like that rookie year probably still happens.
He wasn't horrible.
He wasn't horrible, but what I'm saying is, like, he wasn't.
Forget how good D'Lo was.
He wasn't,
D'Lo, especially after he got traded to Brooklyn. D'Lo was fucking balling.
Sure, but
and so instead you have D'Lo ball and you have Lonzo.
Well, how does D'Lo ball, bro? He handles the ball the entire time.
And Lonzo, what? Lonzo doesn't. Remember Lonzo early in his career, he would come across half court and pass it immediately.
Bad, bro. It's a bad move, bro. We wouldn't have been good.
Like to disagree with me.
We wouldn't have been good. We wouldn't have been good, bro.
I'm not saying we're gonna win a championship. I'm just saying I would have liked to see that team. That's all I said. And you want to argue with me about shit, man? Damn. I would like to see them play together.
Nah, bro.
I just wish still.
D'Lo's
anyways, Nick Young still wants to fuck up D'Lo.
D'Lo rides on his teammate, bro. We can't do it.
Nick Young still wants to fuck up D'Lo, jokingly, obviously, and
maybe not jokingly.
Moving on from that, we have the Boston Celtics have a significant injury update. As when they signed Danilo Gallinari, I thought it was a nice pickup for them, but unfortunately, him playing in the FIBA basketball tournaments, they're playing overseas.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's FIBA exactly, but. He was playing with his...
Isn't he like Serbian or something?
No, let's not just throw out fucking countries out here, Jake.
Because isn't he really cool?
He was playing in the FIBA World Cup. He was playing against Georgia, but I don't know what team he was playing for.
I'll look it up right now.
And so anyways, tore his ACL officially. Danilo Gallinari came out and said, "This has been a tough week for me as I have learned the extent of my injury. This game means everything to me, and not being able to be on the court with my Celtics teammates hurts. I plan to give everything I can to the Celtics organization and my teammates as we hunt for a title. I will work tirelessly with the Celtics staff to return to the court as soon as I can, and I appreciate the unwavering support from the fans, my teammates, and the entire NBA family." Honestly, with an NBA team like behind your back supporting you with training staff and health wise and like diet and everything, like I think he can cut this injury down to 6 months. Get surgery right away.
He's just old, dude. He's older.
He's also older.
That's the only thing. That's my only worry. I think is I would say if he was 25.
Yeah.
But he's towards the end of his career, so I don't know how realistic that is.
I think he could hope. He could be hopeful for a playoff.
But also, if you're Boston, do you go like, "Oh, this is a big hit to us"? I don't think so.
I mean, not a big hit, but it's definitely
it would be nice to have him.
We were excited to have him, and now we don't have him anymore.
Yeah, but maybe he makes the playoffs, but it's too close to the season already. I think. But maybe he makes the playoffs.
It's my process is like a year. Typically, like the most is like a year. So if it's a year from today, obviously he doesn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But if he cuts it down to 8 months, he could do it.
It's possible, but it's just he's older. That's the only thing.
He could do it. Shout out to one of my favorite players for some reason, Danilo Gallinari. He's always been one of my favorite players.
Bro. Who's just nice with it. That's what it is.
He's a bucket.
He is actually, you never guess where he's from. He's from Italy.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes, he is. His fucking name's Danilo Gallinari. I did not guess that.
Angelo. It's because, I don't know, he looks Serbian to me. I thought Serbia.
He looks Italian as fuck, actually, now you think about it. Look at his face.
But Gallinari is
Think about his face. He's Italian
No,
as
dude,
fuck.
I think Serbian, bro.
Nah.
I think Serbian. You know what it was? I thought he was cool with Luka.
I think he is cool, Luka.
But I'm saying, like, but I think it's like just like, hey, we're from other countries. You know what I mean? Like, we're from foreign countries.
Players,
yeah.
So anyway, shout out to Danilo Gallinari. It's not a huge blow to Boston. I think their expectations were he was going to be a nice role player for them.
That's my point. I'm like, it would have been nice, but it's like, I think we're all right, bro. Like, we're good.
They obviously made the finals fucking without him, so.
Yeah.
Right. But you're more excited about the Malcolm Brogdon thing, but the combination of Malcolm Brogdon and the Danilo Gallinari off your bench would have been it's probably pretty exciting for you, so a little unfortunate for him not to be there. But hopefully he can have a speedy recovery and get back sooner rather than later. Last but not least, as well, speaking of overseas Euro basketball stuff, Turkish national team player and 76ers player Furkan Korkmaz got ejected from a game. It was pretty intense. They were like, it was crazy, basically. They kicked him out the game, ejected him. Reportedly, on his way to the locker room, he was attacked by the other player that got ejected and police, like Georgia police. Like, it was a crazy attack situation, yeah. It says, well, quote-unquote, let's see, Onan said, who's Onan? Let's make sure okay, Omer Onan, Turkish Federation Vice President, told reporters that Philadelphia 76ers forward and Turkish player Furkan Korkmaz was attacked by several Georgia players following Georgia's 88-83. I could have sworn it says police, but maybe just players. Throwing Georgia's police under the bus. Players following Georgia's 88-83 win on Saturday. Onan said Turkey would leave the tournament if security footage of the incident wasn't released. While Furkan Korkmaz was walking in the hallway to the locker rooms with our trainer, Georgia's players who were not on the active roster attacked him together with the ejected player, some other guy, I can't pronounce his name, and the police. See, I'm telling you, there was police ammo. There should not be an attack on the player that goes to the locker room at the end of the match. 30 policemen each pushed us into a fight. We got into a fight with Georgia's official police. God, so shit. I am calling out to FIBA, and I have also told FIBA's officials, let no one deceive themselves or think that we are stupid. They will bring us all the camera footage from the corridor minute by minute without anything missing. If those cameras do not come to us, we will leave this tournament. So pretty intense stuff. Yeah, whole attack and fight. And obviously, again, it's a whole Georgia national team, so it kind of does make sense, I guess, that the Georgia police were involved because they were like, nah, fuck that, baby. Representing the country,
our
dog.
squad, bro.
So yeah, I mean, pretty intense stuff. But if it is true and that's what happened, I mean, obviously, I don't see a reason why they would lie. Scary stuff, man. Scary stuff.
But you know what? Like,
sucks. Unfortunate.
Because, that shit happens fast. Like, maybe the Georgia police are, like, trying to help, and then, like,
yeah,
it looks like to him, they're like, he's fucking...
Or he's, like, there, he gets hit once by a cop, and he's like, what the fuck? And the cop's like, I'm so sorry. And then he's like,
you know what I mean?
Fuck that, they're fighting me, too. Because the way it's sounding word for word, it sounds like
he got jumped by everybody.
Yes, it sounded like Furkan Korkmaz was like, yeah. I'm like, man, I don't know, man. I'm just pretty pissed. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. And he's getting jumped by players. And the cops are like, yeah, Georgia, bitch. And it's like, that's what it sounds like, So,
yeah, for sure.
It definitely sounds intense as fuck and scary. Obviously, don't mean to make a joke out of the situation, but it does sound crazy.
Yeah.
And so hopefully Furkan Korkmaz is okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully he didn't deal with any injuries. But it's scary stuff, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, pretty crazy. But countries, they get very intense about each other. So
yeah, I think we start realizing like you don't really see country pride until you see some of these other countries out there.
Yeah.
Because
there's some people are like, I will literally fucking die for.
I mean, in America, it's just like. A lot of people like live in LA, for example. I know people who like won't put an American flag in their bio, but they got like Mexican flags and stuff.
Right.
They live here and stuff, born and raised here, but they still representing the country that they're.
And there's literally countries that they're like,
their family's from.
What'd you fucking say about my country, bro? Like, like that. So
I feel like we have that disconnect here in America, so it's always super.
Our country's great. Because if somebody goes, yeah, fucking America sucks because of this, I go, yeah, that just kind of sucks.
Well, it's just because, like, I think part of it is, like I said, like, I think part of you also represents still with, like, you know, your Hispanic side. You know what I'm saying?
Other cultures.
Other culture side.
Like, obviously, we're American, but
we're American as fuck. We're American as fuck.
Yeah.
But we're also
part of these other countries.
Exactly. Still attached to these other countries, you know?
We don't have a identity.
Exactly.
Like a cultural identity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so versus these countries are like, you're born there, you're raised there. And if you're born in Italy and you're raised in Italy, you're also literally fucking Italian.
Yeah.
Like, you're just all full Italian, bro.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to
there's no,
be
like,
connected to.
Oh, I came here from another place.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, shout out to Cork Miles. Hopefully he's okay again. And hopefully the situation can be resolved. They bring the cameras out and the tournament can just continue the way it should be, man. It's just basketball. Come on. What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Play basketball. Beat him on the court.
Moving on to the NFL. There wasn't much news. You have any stories off the top of your head that happened?
Nah.
Everyone's chilling, just waiting for the season.
Ready. Everybody's just hyped for the season. We got
I will say
3 days, 4 days.
Couple days. We have the first game of the season being the Buffalo Bills versus the
Rams.
LA Rams.
Yes.
I have iffiness on that one. Check it real quick. Just look at NFL schedule. I don't believe you. I don't trust you. You lie a lot.
Money. I like you. You lie a lot.
Buffalo Bills versus the Los Angeles Rams. Thursday Night Football.
It's Thursday Night Football. Buffalo Bills versus the Los Angeles Rams.
Great start
LA
to the
Rams.
season, by the way. Shout out to
Great
the NFL
game.
schedule.
Great
That's a great game. Great matchup for sure. Going to be entertaining. And then obviously Sunday we have a full slate of games. Our first Sunday of the year and the last Sunday for the next 20 weeks or so without NFL football. Are you kidding me?
Let's fucking go, bruh. Let's fucking go.
I love football, man.
I'm nervous, but once I see Dak through one pass, I'll be like, all right, I'm in it, bro. We're good. Super Bowl 2022, bro.
Fast forward to the first game of the Cowboys season. Dak Prescott. Oh my God, the worst throw ever. Pick 6. And the game's over like that.
Anyways, we're going to get into our fantasy teams, how we drafted. We could go pick by pick. If you go to draft... No, on your phone.
What?
Oh. If you go to draft, it shows you like your order.
And it goes in order?
Yeah.
And does it have a grade or not?
Yes, it does have a grade. We'll give that grade at
so
the
you
end.
did it all in order?
Yeah.
How long does it take you, by the way, to input it? Because, by the way, we do it on our draft. We actually do an actual
draft board.
Stickers on the draft board. How do you do it?
Which is way more fun, right?
Way more fun.
Way more fun. Why we even did it the other way?
Yeah, no, it's way more fun.
So when I go... when I was gonna say wait till the end to say your grade, but
my bad. You were about to say that.
No, the way you go in and then you put the teams in order of their draft, and then you go in and each team you just slot each player to their pick, and then.
But I'm saying, do you go like on the row and you go?
No.
You follow the board?
No. It's like there's a list of names on one side, and then there's a list of slots on the other side for the team. And there's a drop down, so I pick my team, and then I pick all my players, and then I pick the next team, and I go pick the players.
How does it go in order?
It's in the rounds. It's the rounds in order. So like, it says my team, right? I have 15 slots. So if the first player I pick is gonna go to the first slot. So
it goes in order.
Yeah, it goes in order. Yeah.
So it's not gonna go okay, I got you.
Yeah, it's gonna go in the orders you took them.
Gotcha.
Because that's how I inputted them. I could input them randomly and be like, "Fuck you guys," like
Yeah.
But I put them in order that they got drafted.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, going through our draft board, Jake had the second pick in the draft. How did you feel about picking second?
I don't like so early, bro.
Also, we're doing a 12-man league this year for
12-man
reference.
League. I don't like going early. I think the 5 to 6 range is perfect.
Oh, I was 6, by the way.
Yeah.
I think 6, 7, and 5 are probably the best places to draft.
Even up to 9, because in the first round you still get a top 10 talent. You kind of can get the guy that you want, kind of, and then you get the back to back so soon. It helps you out, I think, a lot. You know, and obviously if you're the first pick, like eventually my back to backs were pretty close, and I was able to get whoever I wanted. You know, but. It's still like picking so soon, and then you're just fucking waiting forever, like 20 picks or whatever.
Yeah, I'll say I like being where I was at. I was directly in the middle of the 6th pick in the draft. If I had to wait the same amount of time every single pick, so it didn't feel like excruciatingly long.
Yeah.
There were times for sure when it snakes around that just felt a little bit longer for whatever reason, but for the most part, it was chill. I felt good, and I felt like every time I was up, there was 3, 4, 5 names that I actually liked, and I think were valuable pieces at that point. So that's where I was at. So Drake, with the second overall pick in the draft, you decided after the first pick, decided to go with...
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor went first. For me, it was between Christian McCaffrey and Dalvin Cook. I ended up going with Dalvin Cook. I think Christian McCaffrey is just too small. He's 205 pounds, and I'm worried about his injuries. So I did not take him. Even though I wanted to.
We talked about this last week on the episode. If you guys haven't checked it out, it should be on YouTube soon.
Bro, it was the whole reason we even did that episode.
We did an episode last week on last week's podcast. Go listen if you haven't listened. And we said we don't want to take Christian McCaffrey. He's a don't draft. Unless you have to and you're put in a position where it just doesn't make sense to take anyone else, then you take him. But aside from that, you wouldn't want to take him with the first, second, third overall pick just because we were afraid of his injuries. That's what we were saying.
And that's what happened to Josh. He fell to him at 6. He was the best player available. There was no other running back after that would have been comparable to Christian McCaffrey.
Exactly. So, for my mindset going into my draft, because I did a couple mock drafts, I did a handful of mock drafts, and I just kept looking and saying, okay, I think the smart move is probably going to go running back heavy the first 3 rounds. Yeah. If the draft fell the way I wanted, because I figured a lot of people in our league would take a running back and then kind of start moving on to receivers already. Yeah. But a lot of us had a similar mindset. That's what's tough about mock drafts is that your guys in your league either are dumber than the mock drafters or smarter. And I think our guys are a lot smarter than the mock drafters.
Do a little bit more research, have a little bit more strategy.
Take it a little more seriously as well. And so I think with that being said, in my mocks, I was coming up with like a Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Ezekiel Elliott, first 3 rounds.
No, that was me. It was
combo.
Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb, fucking Kyle Pitts into my 3rd round. Like I was getting stacked somehow.
Yeah, you were getting some nice pieces, and so that's how I felt as well. But then going into my draft, I fully expected Derrick Henry or Joe Mixon to be my pick at number 6. I ended up with Christian McCaffrey, who you guys all know he could be literally the best player in the league. So I'm excited for that. A little nervous about his injuries, but I'm definitely excited with Christian McCaffrey being there at 6. I'm moving on to your next pick, sir. What number?
You want to just go? Yeah. Name the whole team? Because if we go one by one, it's going to take forever. It's going to take us like an hour.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So those are our first picks.
Yeah, so those are like the biggest ones.
The rest of your roster, Jake, from there.
Starting with my second pick, I took wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. 3rd pick, running back Josh Jacobs. 4th round pick, tight end Dalton Schultz. 5th round pick, Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver. 6th pick, Amari Cooper. 7th, Patrick Mahomes. 8th, Gabe Davis. 9th, Raheem Mostert. 10th, Los Angeles Rams defense. 11th, Robbie Anderson. 12th, Julio Jones, who didn't have a sticker. I'm like, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, we don't print the stickers. Jake gets them.
They get sent to us. So, but yeah, Julio Jones.
How do you forget about Julio?
I'm like,
he definitely is a bottom tier like fantasy player now.
He should still be. There's players on there. I'm like, who the fuck is that guy? I don't even know who that guy is. Yeah. 12th pick, Julio Jones. 13th pick, Jamal Williams. 14th pick, Jelani Woods. And 15th pick, Rodrigo Blankenship, the GOAT.
Yeah.
So that is my roster. That's my current roster as currently constructed as far as picks goes.
Yeah, for sure. Thought he had a decent little draft there. I don't know. I think... I'm
telling you, I like them. I don't love them.
Your draft is solid. For me personally, like I love CD, but like I'm so iffy on the Cowboys situation, right?
I'm banking on the half PPR thing. I'm banking on CD having a breakout season. I'm banking on Jason Peters being our left tackle.
Yeah, I kind of marked Jerry Jeudy off my board personally because I just hearing rumblings that him and Russell Wilson weren't really connecting well in preseason, but they could hit, for sure. So
that's my hope too. Again, with Jerry Jeudy, it's like hopefully
Julio was going to be a guy I wanted to kind of still late and see if he was him and Tom Brady had a connection. But yeah, definitely a lot there for Jake. Let us know how you feel about it. Wait, what was your draft grade?
C-.
So you weren't happy with that, obviously.
Yeah, I wasn't happy with that grade, but
okay. So my roster as constructed is Christian McCaffrey, number 1, Devontae Adams, 2nd round, 3rd round, Keenan Allen, 4th round, Terry McLaurin, and the 5th round, Michael Thomas. You're hearing that correctly. Adams, Allen, McLaurin, and Thomas. I went straight receiver heavy because obviously my mindset was go receiver, go running back heavy early. And running backs were flying off the board. It just didn't make sense value-wise to get a guy like Clyde Edwards-Helaire earlier than I wanted.
You could get him later.
I could probably get him later, and I'll settle with a guy with these good receivers. So, again, Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin, Michael Thomas. Then I went out with 6th round. I had to go running back again. Went with Cordell Patterson, who I felt I was lucky enough to have there at the 6th round. 7th round, I ended up with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 2 guys that I was happy with being my RB2s. I feel like it could be better at RB2 for sure, but, solid. Derek Carr is my quarterback. I had to take quarterback round 8 because all the quarterbacks were gone. I looked at quarterbacks and I was like, holy shit. I have 2 that I like. It was either Derek Carr or it was Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
The 2 guys left. And I know Rodgers is a fucking monster, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I had Devontae Adams already. I was just like, I don't know. I got to take Derek Carr. Rodgers is too up in the air with no receivers,
Right.
Then we have Rashad Penny, who I'm hoping can have a nice season this year, 9th spot. And then we have Cole Kmet, 10th, 11th, Baltimore defense, 12th, Austin Hooper, who was in Tennessee, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
I did.
13th pick, I took my kicker, Tyler Bass from Buffalo. 14th pick, Devontae Parker. And the last pick of the draft, Ronald Jones, because I'm a little bit scared that Clyde Edwards-Helaire will be kind of pushed out of the starting role at running back. And if it does happen, Ronald Jones is sitting there waiting.
I feel like, Ronald Jones feels like one of those guys that, like, Andy would be like, I like this. I just like this guy better.
Well, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire has, like, not been in favor in KC because of fumbling issues and drop issues here and there. So, I like him. I think he's a good running back, but I just feel like they've had a little bit of growing frustrations with them, which is why you bring in a guy like Ronald Jones just in case. So, just in case they decide to switch up, I have him. So, my draft grade was a B-. I'm happy with my team. I think I'm absolutely stacked at receiver. Now, I don't want to use that as a trade piece. I want to kind of just
sit with it.
Sit with what my team is. And I think if I keep playing games where I'm realizing, hey, I need a tight end or I need a better tight end, I need a better RB2, then I'll start probably shopping some guys. But for now, I think the first 2-3 weeks, I'm
that's my biggest thing. Got to sit with the roster a little bit. First game of the season,
let it breathe.
Getting in the flow. Yeah, let it breathe a little bit. I mean, we had people sending trades immediately after I
got hit up.
It was like 1 a.m.
I got hit up this morning. Asked about Keenan Allen. Just the way it goes.
You want to say your starting lineup for week 1?
Yeah, my starting lineup for week 1. Would you go ahead and give yours because you're already ready?
I have Patrick Mahomes, obviously, as my starting quarterback. CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, Dalvin Cook, Josh Jacobs, Dalton Schultz, Gabe Davis, Rodrigo Blankenship, and the Los Angeles defense.
Shout out to Gabe Davis. Shout out to me for giving you Gabe Davis because you weren't even thinking about him.
No, I had Gabe Davis, bro. I've been thinking about him, bro.
I honestly was surprised. He felt pretty late for Jake.
He did. He felt really late, actually.
My starting lineup for week 1 is Derek Carr at quarterback, Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, Christian McCaffrey, Cordell Patterson, Austin Hooper, Terry McLaurin, and at kicker I have Tyler Bass, Baltimore defense against the Jets. So I actually we ended up picking up an extra spot too, right? We had an open roster spot.
Yeah, we had an open roster
DJ Shark with that.
I ended up picking up Jalen Tolbert. I have a lot of Cowboys on the roster. It's not a bad thing.
I'm telling you, I think this year my strategy as a Cowboys fan was not get as many Cowboys.
It was
players.
Just coincidental. It was just coincidental because Don Schultz was like, I had been wanting him, and I knew like a lot of people weren't going to take him, and I'm going again PPR thing.
Yeah,
he's not the best tight end in the league, but he
no, he gets the ball.
Yeah, he gets
well, my thing was like I was looking at my team and I noticed in the past I've always actively tried to get a Cowboy on my roster, either Dak Prescott or Ezekiel Elliott, or I've tried to figure out to where I can get a good Cowboys player. This year I was like, if a Cowboys player falls in my lap and they are my best option, then I'm gonna take it. But if not, like if Zeke was there in the 3rd round, I would have taken Zeke.
That was my CD pick. My CD pick was like it's kind of the best player available.
Yeah.
And I need a wide receiver, obviously. So let me take CD.
For sure.
So again, coincidental. That's what I'm saying. I wanted that. I had my eye on Dalton Schultz from the beginning. I just wanted to see what tight ends went off. I was going to try and get Kyle Pitts. I was hoping he was going to get back to me for my 3rd pick. But that didn't happen. So I ended up taking Dalton Schultz just to lock him in.
Yeah, so there you have it. There are our fantasy teams. Let us know your fantasy team in the comments below on YouTube, or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or our Podbean or Spotify. Hit us up on social media at media_mixtape. Let us know your team. Give us a screenshot of your squad. Let us know your strategy. Let us know how you feel about our squads. We'll try to give an update every single week for the rest of the season to see who won their matchups and how we're doing and what our records are, what trades we made that week, and things of that nature all year long for fantasy football. So if you like those little fantasy football updates, check out our podcast. Keep listening, and we'll talk about it at the end of every single episode.
Definitely, yeah. Let us know. If you guys want to follow us directly, I'm Obi Jack, OBEEJAC. You can follow Josh
at Josh__G, 2 H's and 2 E's. If that's too confusing for you, it should be right here in front of me. If not, it's in the description wherever you're watching or listening.
Yes, all of our other links are going to be down below. And make sure to hit us up, guys. Send us what's your strategy? What do you think is the best strategy to go? Is it no matter what, running back, let us know.
Yeah. Do you have a strategy? Is it just BPA, best player available type stuff, or how are you feeling? Do you trust the draft boards? Do you have your own draft board? Do you rank your players before? How many championships have you won? We want to know all that stuff. I'm super interested. If you guys have advice or like you have those things to brag about, want to flex your trophies and rings, let us know for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is going to do it for this week's sports episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Peace.